Hey folks, welcome to CIS 2454, Web Systems Development in PHP and Java. This is me, I'm Eric Janeski. Nice to meet you all. Howdy. This is my college email address. This is the best one to use. This is my cell phone number. I do have a desk phone number, but this one goes right to my cell phone, and I have my cell phone with me all the time because I'm a typical millennial who's addicted to my phone. My office hours or student service hours, the time I have set aside each week for you folks to schedule appointments with me and meet: Monday 11 to 12 a.m. to 12 p.m., Tuesday 1 to 2:30 p.m., Thursday 2:30 to 4 p.m., and then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday 10:30 to 11:30 p.m. Notice that is p.m. Usually at least once or twice I have students schedule a meeting and then hop on in the morning at 10:30 in the morning, and I'm rarely ever at my desk at 10:30 in the morning because I hate mornings. I'm a very, very anti-morning person. I like being up late at night. You can't see the clock right now on my screen share because my video there, but it's 1 in the morning right now. Coming to you from my basement office. I don't have internet yet. We just got power back a couple hours ago thanks to that storm that went through. But Comcast didn't get the internet back online yet, which is really sad. So none of these links work. But please schedule an appointment with me via this Calendly link. I promise it's easy to use. You pop in your email address, tell me what you want to meet about, and it gets it on my calendar to make sure we've got that time set aside. I schedule these in 15-minute increments because I've got a lot of you folks to meet with each week here. So between all these different hours, it's about, I break it up in a bunch of different chunks, and we can do about 15 minutes or so. If you're having questions. If those times don't work for you, I can also meet by appointment. I'd like to meet over Zoom. It's probably the easiest, unless you're already on campus at Orchard Ridge in Farmington Hills. Zoom's going to be the easiest because then you don't have to drive anywhere. I don't have to drive anywhere. Life is just good like that. So if you want to meet in person, let me know. We can definitely arrange for that one of the afternoon times. Unfortunately, the campus is not open late at night, so the evening times are only over Zoom. But I find most folks are sort of around and working this sort of time, unless you like mornings and go to bed early. But it tends to be a lot of computer people and college students are up really late at night, so this works out pretty well. There's just one section for us, 1531. This is online asynchronous, so we don't have synchronous meetings or required meetings. I might actually have a few synchronous meetings, maybe 2 or 3 throughout the semester that I'll invite everyone to, so we can hop on and have a little Q&A session or demo or something here, see if that works, but that won't be required here. So our classroom is the website, Desire to Learn, opencc.desiretolearn.com. Here's a copy paste of the course catalog description. Nothing interesting here. Your prereq, you should have taken a programming class in Java, either 1500 or 2151. Weirdly, 1500 is a prereq for 2151, but I didn't write this and it's changing next year, so not my mess. For outcomes, we tackle the general education outcome of critical thinking. Like in most programming classes, you're applying knowledge to an assigned task. You're learning interesting things about how you can solve problems in code, and then you go get a task assigned and you apply your knowledge to solve that task. That's critical thinking. That's the hard part of programming, is figuring out how you can make a dumb computer solve a complex problem. Our specific common course outcomes, we look at specific items here. Most of this won't make a whole lot of sense until we get there later, so I'm not going to bother reading them to you, but we'll cover all of these topics throughout the semester. For our textbooks, we have 2 different textbooks. So we're going to start with PHP and MySQL. Here, this book here, I probably should have put them in the other order. This one is rather newer, and then we'll go back to the slightly older Java Servlets book for the second half of the semester. We look at doing this. So we're going to do web development in PHP first, and then we'll look at web development with Java using servlets and JSP for the second half. Similar idea here, but in a different language. It's kind of fun to see it work like that. You can get it from the bookstore, your favorite online bookstore, however you want to find them here. And then for all of our software, we have a lot of software we're going to use, but do note GitHub and Discord. I shouldn't say Twitch here. Oops. GitHub and Discord. Public services. So use whatever username or handle you want. It doesn't have to have your real name, because when you turn something into Desire to Learn, that'll have your name on it, right? So make a GitHub account if you don't have one. It is free. You shouldn't have to pay for anything. I like using the GitHub desktop client. It's not the only way to interact with Git or GitHub, but it's the same for every language I use. I would strongly recommend you join my Discord server. I'm a big fan of Discord because it's actually modern, and then when someone asks a question, everyone gets a chance to see it, so I don't have to answer the same question 30 times. Makes life easy for all of us. So other people ask questions, you can ask questions, you'll see answers in there, and folks even help each other, which is fantastic. If I'm not available be able to answer right away. Other people might know that answer. When we get to Java, I like the OpenJDK because Oracle having their whatever just irritates me, so I like the open version. We'll be using NetBeans for our integrated development environment and lets us do PHP and JSP, which is fantastic here. So it's a free download. And then we're going to use XAMPP, which is a big package here that gives us all sorts of cool stuff. So we get Apache, we get MySQL, we get PHP, and we get Tomcat as well in here, which is cool. So we'll be using almost all of them, and I've got a video later on showing you how to do that. If you don't install them all on your own computer, or they won't install, whatever, because you're using a Chromebook, you can use our virtual desktops. Now, the only problem is the files don't save on these, so it's a little trickier, but we'll show you how to use GitHub, and we can just pull back our files every time. It just adds a few steps. For course policies, I'm a stickler on this because cheaters should not get degrees. It's bad for everybody. If someone cheats their way through school and then gets a job, and they suck at their job because they cheated through school and have no idea what they're doing, that employer is going to think we did a terrible job teaching people and won't want to hire other graduates from our school. So just don't cheat, right? If you don't want to be here, don't be here. Right? You don't want to take the class, don't take the class. We're here to learn something and learn new skills and get better. Right? That's the whole goal here. If you don't want to take the class, do credit by exam and don't take it. You've got options. So the consequence for engaging in academic dishonesty in my class is failure in the class. You are failed and you get reported to the dean's office. There is no 0 on the assignment. There is no try again. It is you fail. I try my hardest to make sure cheaters do not get degrees. Right? It's just bad for all of us here. Just don't cheat. None of this stuff is too hard to do for you, I promise. People get through and get this work done all the time. Now, if you're not sure, ask me. Up until the point when you hand in something or turn it in Desire to Learn and put your name on it and give it to me and say, this is my work here, ask me. Right? I will tell you whether or not you need to add a citation here or these sorts of things here. There are websites like Chegg.com. They are awful. They're getting sued by Pearson. I'm so happy. Just don't go there for any reason at all. Don't post stuff there. Don't cite answers there. It's just completely banned, or other sites are considered academic misconduct immediately. Just you don't use them. Right? I understand ChatGPT exists. I think it's a fantastic tool. It does some really cool stuff. The problem is it can't do everything, and programmers in the real world use it as a tool. It doesn't do everything for them either. So you need to learn how to use it and use it in the right way. So you can use it as a source here. You can cite it using code comments. I'll show you how. But you can't just give me an entire solution from ChatGPT. You can't take the project and say, hey, ChatGPT, solve it for me, and turn it in with one giant quote. Right? Just like an English paper, you can't turn in one giant quotation. You can use other people's work, you can reference their work, and then add your original effort to it. So the bulk of your work, more than half of it has to be your work here, not pulled from ChatGPT. Okay, it's a great tool, but it's not going to do everything. It's good at, hey, I'm getting an error message. Can you help me solve this error? Hey, can you give me more examples for this sort of thing? Or, hey, can you show me how to do one small thing? Don't ask it to do everything, right? That just defeats the whole purpose, and then you'll fail the class, and you'll be pissed off at me, and then it just won't go well. When I have to fail people, I have to do a lot of paperwork. It upsets me, and I complain about it to my wife, and then my wife's upset that I'm complaining about it. She's like, I should just forget about it, and then I get upset, like, why would somebody even bother cheating? It's just not worth it. And like every semester, I have to do all this paperwork here. I have to fill out this big long form. I have to send it to my dean. I have to talk to him about it, and then he has to go and do this, and I have to fail people, and it's just a nonsense, right? It's just really obnoxious, and I hate doing it here. Here's the quote from the OCC handbook, your student handbook. Now, interestingly, you cannot engage a behavior in which, in the judgment of the instructor, that's me, if to me it's construed as academic dishonesty, if I think it's academic dishonesty, you fail the class, right? I know it sounds like I'm a big jerk. Just ask me, right? It's not hard. Almost all of the time for our classes, it's plagiarism. It's putting someone else's work, their idea, data, images, whatever, without giving credit to the originator. That's academic dishonesty. That's plagiarism. You can't do that. And then, like I said, stay off of Chegg. You can't acquire tests or other academic material or distribute them. Taking a question from a course here and posting on Chegg.com is a violation of this policy immediately. Even just asking the question on their, quote, tutoring service that they let people pay for to cheat, which is a bunch of nonsense, and they're awful. They deserve to get sued from Pearson because Pearson is suing them for hosting their content. They said, hey, this is a question that we wrote in one of our Pearson textbooks. You can't have it on your website because it's copyrighted material. And Chegg said, oh, someone else posted it. And it's a bunch of crap and they're going to get sued, which is awesome. Not usually fond of people suing other people. And I'm not even fond of Pearson because I hate them too. But yeah, they're going after Chegg. So that makes me happy. And the other thing here is this students who aid and abet, which is super weird language in our code of conduct, but sure, if your classmate says, hey, I just want to look at your code just to see how you did it, tell them to get lost. Because if you give them your code and then they turn in work that is identical to yours, you're both going to fail for engaging in academic dishonesty. Tell them to go do their own work, okay? A copy paste from the student code of conduct. Definitely be on time for our asynchronous class. You should remain in class until we're dismissed. Keep the classroom quarters, whatever, nonsense. The grading policy. So if you want to get a particular letter grade, this scale should be pretty standard in every class now, like 73 to whatever is the regular, 87 and up is the plus and whatever here. But I do things by category. So we'll have labs every week. We'll have projects. We'll have 4 individual projects. We have quizzes almost every chapter. We have a single midterm exam and we have a final project. They're weighted. So all of the labs together make up 10% of your final score. So if you get 90% of the labs score here, you'll get 9 out of that 10% in the class, that sort of thing. And you notice the final project is worth a crazy 40%. You cannot pass the class without the final project. That's on purpose, right? The goal is everything we do builds up to this final project, and this is your chance to put all your skills together, engage in some critical thinking, and apply the skills that you've learned. If you'd like a WS, which is essentially a withdraw, you can ask me for that even after the drop date. You can go to the MyOCC site and drop yourself up to a certain date. I forget where that is. You can go look it up in the class. It's like 10 weeks in or something like that. But up until you present your final project, you can say, hey, Eric, can you withdraw me? Give me a WS, and I can do that for you. I just need a request from your student email. So I've got the paperwork to say, yeah, they asked for it here. If you don't ask for a WS and you don't turn in the final project, you fail. Because withdrawing changes the amount of credit you enrolled for, which can be bad for some people who need full-time status, and I just don't do it unless they ask for it. For the N grade, if you don't turn in gradable work for online classes, you get an N mark. If you're receiving federal financial aid, you get dropped from the class and then we take your money back or something like that. It's this big, obnoxious process. If you pay for the class yourself or through some other process that's not federal financial aid, nothing happens, which is neat this semester. But we've got a syllabus quiz this first week. Just take it. Right? You can take it as many times as you want until you get it all right. It's free points, essentially. I want people to have read the syllabus, watch this video, and go through it here. I don't take things late. I post solutions to the project, so I can't take them late once a solution is posted. Right? You'll have 2 weeks for every project, so please plan accordingly. Start early, and try not to leave it to the last minute. Right? That'll just make life easier for all of us. For FERPA, I don't tell anybody anything. If you want to know anything about your grade, I say go look at D2L. It's all posted there, which is nice. Our Americans with Disabilities Act, if you need any sort of accommodations, contact the Access Office first. They'll get in touch with me. Almost all of the time, the accommodation requests I see are additional time on tests, and I don't have time to test. So if there's anything else that I can do for you, please get in touch and let me know through the Access Office, and then we can have that conversation. Our Academic Support Center is one of my favorite things about OCC. We have a whole department dedicated to academic support and success. Now, this is not your first college class, so hopefully you're getting a little better at your study skills, but the study skills seminars are fantastic because being an adult is hard. College is much different than high school. I'm not going to hound you if you don't turn stuff in. If you don't turn stuff in, that's on you. You're not going to get points. You're going to fail the class. I'm not going to remind you every time you missed something. You are all adults. You can manage this on your own. That's how it works. But the cool thing they have is, free is the wrong word here, but no additional charge tutoring. It's paid for by your tuition and tax dollars. You just don't have to pay extra for it. Here we've got, I believe, 2 or 3 people who can tutor for this class. I haven't actually looked at the schedule yet, but I'm hoping they're back. I don't think they've published it. I should look, but I don't have internet, thanks to that storm, so I can't actually check it out right now. The Student Technical Help Desk for technical help issues, D2L support for D2L issues. That's the website itself is giving you errors. The content is all me. Accessibility standards. You should be able to know file management things. Knowing where files are is actually really important, and people are bad at this, tends to be lately, so please know where files are, and if you're not sure, I'll help you out. But yeah, you should be able to use the web. For technology appropriate use, don't do stupid things with college resources or you'll lose access to those resources. For netiquette, just be kind. For public safety, if there's anything you need, harassment is not tolerated here. Feel free to contact me or public safety if someone is harassing you. We've got 0 tolerance for that. The library is fantastic. One of my other favorite things here at OCC, because we have access to a super cool catalog in addition to all the other cool stuff we have, which is O'Reilly Books. O'Reilly is a technical publisher, so if there's literally anything you want to know in CIS, they probably have a book out there for it. And they're always publishing new books. So there is some old stuff out there, but you can always find something current for free, which is super cool. So I think basically any O'Reilly book we can have access to now, which is really nice. So if you're curious, go check it out. I'll send you the link later. I'll post it in my Discord. For grading, now if you've checked me out on Rate My Professor, you'll find out I'm terrible at this. I'm hoping this will be the semester that I'm not. I started off really good last time, and then life just sucked in the summer. I got really sick and bad stuff happened, and it seems like something seems to always come up, and I'm hoping nothing will. This will just be a great fall. So the goal is to have things graded within a week of when they are due, not when you turn it in, but a week of the due date. I'll try and get things turned around for folks. The quizzes should auto-grade themselves. I'll work on the discussions, and then the projects should be pretty good for you. For communication, I usually respond within well less than 24 hours, but give me up to 24 hours. If you haven't heard from me, please reach out again. I probably missed it, or my son playing on my phone swiped it away, or I don't know what happened to it. Reach out again. You're not bothering me at all. I like hearing from people and chatting with folks. It's really weird when people don't talk to me all semester. Right, and then the schedule. We start Thursdays at 8 a.m. and they go to the following Thursday at 7:59 a.m. So pay attention to the due dates, right? Things will be due at 7:59 a.m. right on Thursdays, the following Thursday. So starting this week, our course introduction tools overview, the PHP appendix. So we start in PHP for the first half of the semester, do all things PHP. Our first 3 projects, 0, 1, and 2, are done in PHP. Then we get to the midterm. Then we come back and we switch gears and kind of blitz through some JSP. So looking at how we do these things in Java land, go through a bunch of chapters because it's some intro stuff. And we start our 4th project, project number 3. And then we get to the final project on November 7th, which feels kind of early, but it gives you a month to get it done. So a month to get this project done, which is worth 40% of your score in the class here, is the goal. And we'll kind of pick up things as we go. So when we get to the final project, you can either do it in PHP or JSP, whichever you prefer. Totally up to you. We'll use sessions and cookies. We'll use databases, all this fun stuff here. Just a short final week here on DOM, Ajax, and frameworks. Just some short notes. Most of this week is for you to work on the final project and check in with me, see how things go. And then final project presentations are not optional. You must present the final project to get a score for it. I usually do those on Zoom, usually individual. I'm going to try and schedule a few times so we can get a couple of people together, because it's fun to see what other people did and what their project looks like. But it's hard to get people together with these online async environments because we don't all have the same schedule. If anything changes, I will let you know. If not, you have a great semester. Let me know. Always happy to answer questions. Again, I'm fond of Discord because then everyone sees the question, sees the answer. But feel free to reach out, text, email, whatever you want to do. That works out great as well. For texting and calling me, I've got 7 kids at home. It's pretty busy during the day. If I don't answer, let me know what is a good time to call back. As you can tell, I like late evening hours after my kids are in bed and it's quiet in the house. That's my favorite time to get work done. So if you want to talk at 11 p.m., midnight, that's great. If you want to talk at 6 in the morning, probably not going to happen, right? I usually don't touch my phone until after I'm awake, like 9 to 10-ish. I don't like getting up early at all. Mornings are the worst here. I'm much more of a late person, so reach out anytime. Some people say, I'm sorry to bother you when they send me messages or emails or things, but I keep my phone on do not disturb when I'm asleep, so it's not going to bother me. It's actually pretty easy here, so I don't mind giving out my cell phone number here. So call or text, email, find me on Discord, however you want to reach out here is fantastic. Or if you want to meet in person, let me know. We can definitely arrange that as well. All right, folks, looking forward to a great semester. We'll see you soon.